you single and personally victimized by the coronavirus to the point where you're bored, lonely, and aggressively horny? Yup, me too. Ugh. Hey y'all, it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can still safely date while being quarantined during this really hard time right now. I know being single right now is extremely frustrating, but it doesn't have to be all that bad. Also, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I post videos about living in San Francisco. I just moved back and I'm so happy to be back home. And I also make content about dating and just navigating this ridiculous dating world right now. So if you feel like you can relate to all that stuff or you like content on that, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. I just mentioned in the intro, I just moved back to San Francisco, and one of the first things that I did was that I reactivated my dating apps. And you're probably thinking, well, why?
What's the point of that, Ilana? The coronavirus is going on right now. You can't meet new people right now.
Wrong. I know that there are other ways to get creative with this, and I wanted to kind of share my tips and what I've been doing because I've already started dating since I've been back because single and lonely and horny. And I just kind of want to share what I've been doing in hopes that it helps you navigate this time while you are being quarantined. So let's get on to the first thing. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna get into is that we're gonna take it back old school style, except not really, because we are going to be using video chats, which wasn't used back in the old days, but it's still kind of like the equivalent of talking on the phone, but you're just seeing that person's face. So video chats are going to be your best friend during this time. There are many ways you can do that. You can FaceTime, you can use Duo, you can use WhatsApp. There's so many opportunities out there. Some people are even using Skype and Zoom, and it's just a really great way to get to meet someone. And what I think is really cool about this opportunity is that you can't be physically intimate with someone. You're forced to just strictly get to know somebody without getting physical. And that way, when this all passes, you can determine if you want to take things forward later on, whether it's physically or emotionally or whatever. But during this time, it's going to be really important that you're going to be using video calls to start communicating with people and being able to somewhat physically see them. And there's so many fun things you can do. You could literally get lunch together by you just eating over the video call. You can do the whole Netflix party extension thing that everyone's talking about, where you can watch a movie together, but you're actually watching the movie and you're not getting distracted by physical contact. So that is really cool that you're kind of being forced to actually just date and not focus on physical aspects of a relationship. I think this is actually a really good thing that's going on right now. I'm editing Ilana here. When I say good thing going on right now, I mean good for dating. I understand that the coronavirus is not a good thing right now. Just wanted to clarify that. Sorry. Thanks, coronavirus. You're actually doing us a solid here. Let's go on to the next thing. Because we can't physically go out and meet new people, dating apps are honestly going to be our best bet right now. It's really important that you start getting into the habit of downloading dating apps because you're not going to be able to meet someone at the bar or at school or wherever you are because everything is basically closed. One great thing about coronavirus is that it is such a great conversation starter. There are so many puns and opening lines that you can do despite how cheesy they really are, but it's a great way to start a conversation. You can talk about how coronavirus has been affecting your lives, and then you can kind of transition the conversation out of that into something else. People want to know how other people are handling this time right now, and people are going to find that to be really interesting. So take advantage of it and have fun with talking about it. It's not going to hurt you by any means. So we kind of already talked about this in the first thing, but like I mentioned, virtual dates are going to be your best friend. Let's say you don't want to just have a regular dialogue over video chat. You can do other fun things like I mentioned, where you're eating together through video call, you're doing the Netflix party thing. You can even do those zoo virtual tour things that people have been talking about. There are so many things that you can do over a Zoom call. Another cool thing that you can do is show your date your apartment. I think your apartment and how you design it and decorate it really speaks a lot about a person. And it's a really cool way to get to know somebody based on what their house looks like. It could really be helpful and tell you a lot about a person. If you're doing something really creative while dating right now, comment down below. I'd love to know what you've been doing when it comes to dating during the coronavirus. Let me know your other ideas that you have. Anyway, let's go on to the fourth thing. So also I just mentioned, no sex? Well, no problem. While you can't physically get intimate with someone right now, that doesn't mean that you still can't physically explore each other. So what do I mean by that? Because my channel isn't even monetized right now, I'm going to be extremely inappropriate with this tip. How do you actually be sexually intimate with someone when you can't actually physically be with them? 2 things you can do. Actually, 3 things you can do. We're gonna be bringing back sexting and sending nudes. But just remember, if you're not comfortable doing this, then by all means, don't do this. This is where you feel like you have that connection with somebody and you want to be able to explore that side of them, then go crazy with the sexting, go crazy with the video sex. Like I said, if you're not comfortable showing your naked body off to someone through a video call and you haven't even met them yet, then I think sexting will be the best thing for you. And here's why: because you're not physically exposing yourself to someone, you're just engaging in harmless chat. And another thing you can do to feel somewhat connected to the person as well, get you a little something that goes buzz 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 and just masturbate through the whole thing. I mean, it's one way to get the job done, right? And maybe you can even have your partner doing it on the other side as well. And I know it's not completely the exact same thing, but this is kind of where we're at right now and we don't really have a choice. That's one way that you can kind of take care of your needs when you can't get physical with someone. Okay, let's go to the last tip. Okay, so the 5th and final thing that I have for you, let's say you feel like this person is worth the risk to go out and meet them for the first time. This is what I advise. Still practice the social distancing, making sure that you're staying 6 feet apart from one another. Do not hug them when you first meet them. Do not kiss them. Do not hold their hand throughout the date. Do not physically touch them in any kind of way. I know that might be really awkward and you're just like, hey, I can't give you a hug, but it's so nice to meet you. That's literally how it has to be right now. I know it's really awkward, but we gotta follow what the CDC is telling us right now. I recommend doing something very, very quick. Keep the date to maybe an hour or so. Go on a quick walk by being separated. If you really wanna grab some food, obviously you have to get it to go, and maybe you can sit on 2 different sides of the bench and talk it out in a park. That's what I recommend. Just be very mindful of other people around you and making sure that you are maintaining a distance, because this really isn't the time to be going out and physically meeting people and breaking the rules. But if you really, really want to meet that person, that is what I advise, and you really just need to be careful with that. Since you've met that person, then I recommend going back to the video chatting for the time being until this whole thing blows over, and who knows when that will be, because there's a lot of uncertainty right now. And once this whole thing is over, pick things back up where you left off. It's gonna be really important that you keep communicating with this person throughout this time, since it is really tough to date. But if you feel like this person is worth it, then keep communicating, because by the time this whole thing passes, you're gonna be super excited to go back to your normal life and do other fun things that you couldn't do with this person before. So if this video helped you and it makes you feel a little bit better about being single while quarantined, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.